We as a species have lost something vital to our well-being. It's not a possession. It's the most vital aspect of ourselves. Our vibrant health, free of disease. Our physical strength and power and agility. Our vibrant awareness. And a mind that is free of stress, unclouded by thoughts, and joyful and aware of every moment that we're alive. These things are our natural birthright, given to us by nature. These things have been taken from us and replaced with the idea that we're lacking in vital areas of our lives, and that society's products, cars, clothes, prescription drugs, are the things that will make life worth living. We've been born into a world that tells us that we're small, insignificant creatures, that the only way that we'll make ourselves valuable is by achieving fame or wealth, by buying society's products, by affiliating ourselves with a sports team or political party. The system works by debt bondage. We go into debt financially and emotionally, and then we sell our time, our lives, in order to pay off that debt. ReWilding is all about breaking free. ReWilding is emancipation from our cultural conditioning and a return to our wild mindset. Most of what we consider to be instinctive, normal, or natural human behavior is actually programming that we've internalized so deeply that we're basically running on autopilot. Inside all of us resides a wild woman, wild man, or wild child who is fully capable of functioning without all of the programming that our culture insists is necessary. Nature is not out to get us, and as we break free of the fear of nature that civilization has instilled in us, we find that nature welcomes us in.
Yeah, I touched it, but I see a bumblebee. I did touch it, pa, and it touched me.
Can you show me?
Oh.
To understand rewilding, we first need to understand what we mean by wild human nature. Because if the wild mindset equates with our ancient ancestors' mindset, we start to imagine the Hollywood caveman, living a fearful, violent life, and behaving in a way that is completely self-serving. It's doubtful that our ancestors were like that. These were people who hunted mammoths with stone-tipped spears and survived ice ages. Likely they were people of great courage, great ingenuity, and great creativity. Think about it. You are a direct descendant of these people. If just one of your ancestors had died before bearing children, you wouldn't exist. But every one of your ancestors lived to have children. They lived in a world of saber-toothed tigers, and they lived without guns, without antibiotics, without emergency cell phones. Your ancestors were clearly some pretty amazing people. We have further proof of the true nature of the wild human, and that proof resides within ourselves. Most of you who are watching this probably love to go out into nature to camp, practice bushcraft, hunt, or forage. And we all know that something changes inside us when we're out in nature, even if it's only for a few minutes. Our mind quiets and relaxes. Our senses wake up. Our worries and frustrations begin to dissolve. The longer and more immersed we get into nature, the more we watch this change unfold. It's in stark contrast to our usual feeling at home or at work. If we watch television, we know what it makes us feel like. Hypnotized, zoned out, half dead. When we sit on the edge of a pond at night and watch the geese fly in, we feel the opposite. Awake, aware, fully alive. This is a direct experience of our wild nature. It's certainly not violent, amoral, or fearful. In fact, the more time we spend in nature, the more it becomes abundantly clear that the violent, fearful mindset is an artifact of the domesticated human mind. It's what happens when a wild, free animal is kept in a physical, mental, and emotional cage. Rewilding, then, is the practice of returning to our wild way of being. At ReWild University, We use the tools of ancestral skills, wilderness immersion, adventure, a unique form of martial arts, homesteading, mindfulness practices. Most importantly, perhaps, a thoughtful questioning of our cultural conditioning and assumptions. These tools are not ends in themselves. Sure, they're fun, they could save your life, and they're useful. But more importantly, they serve as gateways into your inner, wild self. So is ReWilding asking everyone to live in huts in the woods? No. But we can examine our current culture and use our intelligence to question whether it's truly a good way to live. Sometimes there's other ways to do things. Our current culture is all too willing to take control of our lives with that sophisticated system of debt bondage, consumer enticement that keeps us effectively enslaved. Most of us are so busy working and worrying that we never even question whether what we're doing is right. But many of us are afflicted with a vague but chronic sense of emptiness, of frustration, as if something very important is missing from our lives. And it is. Once we recognize that, we begin down the path to our own personal rewilding. Rewilding gives us a return to our most vital selves through 4 elements. Cleaning up our diet, finding a lifestyle that incorporates community, integrity, and connection with nature, exercising in ways that are both fun and that empower rather than wear out our bodies, and most importantly, regaining our wild mindset, which is stress and frustration free, not plagued by constant out-of-control thoughts, and feels the joy of every moment of living. As we embody these traits on a personal level, our actions will naturally follow our inner nature and will contribute to the world in a way that is more compassionate, more aware, more integritous. Most people have heard of the diet, lifestyle, and exercising elements, but that most vital aspect, our mindset, it's the foundation for all the others. You can eat a pristine diet and exercise every day, but if your mindset is constantly bombarding your body with stress hormones, it's as unhealthy as a cigarette habit. Wisdom and meditative cultures have long recognized that large-scale cultures tend to kill something inside of us. Something that is intrinsic to the human experience. But cultures can't actually kill it. It's just buried inside us, waiting to emerge if we just wake up from the hypnosis that our culture has instilled in us. ReWilding is about reconnecting with our natural selves. You are amazing, vital, aware, passionate. Your mind is silent and open. Your body is capable of things that will make others gasp in wonder. These things are you, but they've been buried by a process of domestication that has robbed you of the things that make you most human. As you discover your intrinsic self, your actions will naturally shift to reflect the foundation you're living from. And thus, the culture will shift, becoming more aware, more peaceful, healthier, and more passionate. Imagine the culture we'd create if the average human being was characterized by a sense of joy, of sharing, of compassion, of curiosity, and of adventure. A very different culture would emerge out of a collective group of humans who embodied these traits. And it can begin with you. Rewild you.